Caleb University has conferred its first female honorary award on the Chief Executive Officer of Omatech Computers PLC, Mrs. Florence Seriki. Authorities of the institution attributed the deserving gesture to Mrs. Seriki's role in making Nigeria ICT compliant. This event took place during the convocation of about 160 fresh graduates of the institution, where 2 females emerged the best graduating students.
The recognition of women for their contribution to economic development was over the weekend exemplified as the Chief Executive Officer of Omatech Computer PLC, Florence Seriki, was conferred with a doctorate degree of science by the authorities of Caleb University, Lagos. Reacting on the conferment, Mrs. Seriki encouraged the fresh graduates of Caleb University to emulate her steps in the area of diligence and entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship is not when you are just working by yourself. I define entrepreneurship or an entrepreneur as that person that has a novel idea and innovation and sat back, did his own work, and converted it to his means of making a revenue and influencing others.
She also announced the plans for the university, especially in the practical field of computer engineering.
They haven't started engineering, so my first challenge is to influence that. And the synergy between the industry and the institution is one of the main factors we are going to work with them. We need the students to come to the field, to the factories, and acquire practical knowledge. At the same time, create resource centers with them and assist them in the curriculum, influencing it practically.
I'm happy to say that we conferred the honorary doctorate degree on Mrs. Florence Seriki, who happens to be the first female honoree and the only other honoree apart from our visitor and chancellor. It wasn't a gender-based issue because that name was proposed from a committee and it went through Senate, it went through Council.
Omatech Nigeria PLC is a listed indigenous computer venture in the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and the company currently holds over 2 billion shares and has been in existence for over 25 years under the purview of Dr. Mrs. Florence Seriki.
Now, in a bid to boost the supply of petroleum products in Nigeria, Techno Oil Limited today officially commissioned its 20 outlets of retail filling stations across the country. At the commissioning of its Oshodi Expressway branch, the management of the company revealed their plans to keep to high standards. As part of the federal government's aim to prevent cases of petroleum product scarcity in the country, Techno Oil Limited has joined in the realization of that goal. With the commissioning of its Oshodi Expressway retail filling station today, 19 other branches nationwide become officially open.
We're commissioning one of 20 filling stations across Nigeria, and we intend to do this the next 5 years. Every year we intend to commission 20 stations, and in 5 years we intend to have 100 filling stations all across Nigeria.
Emphasizing on the integral essence of the filling station, the Vice Chairman of Techno Oil Limited, Mrs. Nkechiobi, speaks on the one-stop shop nature of the outlets.
For the past 10 years, we have been a downstream operator, and today is very symbolic for Techno Oil because it enables to be an integrated company. And here today, we are able to have a one-stop shop for our lubricants, for our gas, diesel, and every product, every other petroleum products will be here, so that the people will not be able to have will not have any difficulty in being able to get our products around the country.
And with the under-dispensing nature of PMS as common with several other filling stations in the country, the company's management explains its intervention strategies.
So we have all our people, they've been trained in weight and measures, and we go around periodically to make sure that these stations are selling what they should be selling, that the attendants make sure that what they are dispensing into the tanks of our motorists are exactly what they paid for.
we have in our meetings reflected on that, and we've made sure there are controls to make sure people are not shortchanged in terms of the dispensing of the product. So this is something we are working actively to resolve, and I can promise you we have situations like that, and we are going to make available a way for people, customers, to get in contact with us.
Techno Oil filling stations are built with automated pumping facilities. The company has 6 tanks of about 13.5 million liters each in its Kirikiri, Lagos farm and receives over 40,000 metric tons of oil per week. All right, we move straight on to business news. Here's Joke Rogers. Joke?
Thank you, Ijoma. Well, Nigeria remains important to the growth of the U.S. economy. This vote of confidence was given by the U.S. Consular General, Mr. Jeffrey Hawkins, who rang the closing bell at the Nigerian Stock Exchange today. According to Mr. Hawkins, the annual trade volume between the U.S. and Nigeria is well above $40 billion, while $5 billion goes into investment in Nigeria's stock exchange. He also mentioned that it's necessary for the government to create a better business environment, especially in the oil sector.
We focus most on the interest of the American investors, American business people, and the American taxpayers. So there are a number of things that we do with Nigeria to help encourage good practices. For example, we have a trade and investment framework agreement with Nigeria. It's a bilateral discussion that allows us to deal with some of these issues. We have our binational commission that deals with wider bilateral issues, but also has economic elements. We do a lot of assistance to different elements of the Nigerian government that are interested in creating the sort of transparency and good business practice we're talking about, whether it's the FCC on corruption and other issues like that.
Meanwhile, transactions in foreign portfolio investments at the Nigerian Stock Exchange grew by 15.4% to 52.3% by the end of August. This is according to a statement from the Nigerian Stock Exchange. The FPI outflow, which includes sales, transactions, or liquidation through the stock market, dropped from 40.96 to 31.12 billion naira, while the inflows rose from 20.50 to 39.76 billion naira. Domestic transactions, on the other hand, slipped 15.4% to 47.7%. Staying with the stock market, Harriet Agbeni joins us now with a summary of the day's trading session.
Well, let's take a look at how trading fared today. The key indicators ended the day's session in South Territory, as the all-share index shed 0.20% to finish at 37,267.96 points, with the market capitalization of 11.87 trillion naira. The food giant Nestle was the day's heaviest loser, as investors chopped off 13 naira from the equity. It closed at 1,010 naira. Others that got the cold shoulder include beverage stock Guinness Nigeria, MRS All Nigeria, and Champion Breweries PLC. On Monday's top 3 price appreciators are Corn Oil, Cadbury Nigeria, and Pizza Cussons. Well, for the first trading day of the week, Zenith Bank was the most actively traded stock, churning out over 60.52 million units. It's followed by Transnational Corporation of Nigeria and Guarantee Trust Bank. When the closing bell rang, 295.69 million shares had been exchanged in 5,921 deals for 3.91 billion naira. Well, it's still earnings season, and we're hoping that those numbers keep coming in. And definitely, like operators say, it should push the market back into winning ways. But those are the day's trading figures. I'm Harriet.
Finally, telecoms regulators in Africa have agreed to work together to harness policies that will protect consumers on the continent. Rising from a 2-day conference organized by the Nigerian Telecommunications Commission, delegates from over 16 countries and other regional telecoms groups issued a 17-point communique to guide regulators in ensuring quality service delivery to consumers.
United by a common goal, Telecoms consumer affairs regulators and executives from all over Africa came together in Lagos to seek ways of tackling consumer issues peculiar to the continent's market, like customer care, quality of service, challenge groups and consumer experience in other jurisdictions, dispute resolution, promotion and lottery issues, amongst other things.
As regulators, we have our job cut out for us by the various enabling laws and acts and expectations from the various stakeholders which are overwhelming. I'm inclined to think that the theme presupposes the perishable position of the consumers who must be protected from market dangers.
Regulators in the telecom industry should translate government policies in such a way as to positively advance the overall interest of the consumers.
What we are doing is...
The conference had various events, one of which was a peer review session where the African experience was shared.
The contact centers provide opportunity for consumers in Nigeria to express themselves, to ask questions, to make inquiries.
We position the Uganda Communications Commission as a court of appeal, so to speak, for consumer issues. We have dialogues with students in the various schools where we're using the teachers to create, to get the consumers to be aware at a young age as to what their rights are as a consumer of telecommunication services.
At the end, delegates seemed better equipped for the task ahead.
With the lesson that we've learned here, we are going to enhance our regulations so that we can be in par with some of the best regulators elsewhere in the world.
The conference ended with 17 resolutions, some of which is to advocate for service-neutral and single licensing for telephony, internet and broadcast services, and that Telecoms infrastructure be declared as critical national infrastructure, a step already been taken by the federal government of Nigeria. Henry Ogunjibi, reporting for Channels Television News.
That's it on Business News. On the news at 10, Ijoma returns in just a moment.